Welcome to the Backlash at Backlash.com. My name is Rod Van Mecklin, and in this video I'm going to read excerpts from my 1992 article, Brutalizing Men, The Genesis. 1992, Bellevue, Washington. In the beginning the mother created her children. Created she them, daughter and son. And there was evening and morning, the first day. And the mother said, Let the girl child receive more nurturing than the male child. And there was evening and morning, the second day. And the mother said, Let the boy children work for what the girl children get for free. And there was evening and morning, the third day. And the mother said, Let women have power and dominion over the boys, to rule the days and nights of their childhood, and to separate the sugar and spice from the snippets and snails and puppy dogs' tails. And there was evening and morning, the fourth day. And the mother said, Let there be many options for the girls, like swarms of living creatures, but for the boys, none. And there was evening and morning, the fifth day. Then the mother said, Let us make girls in our image. So the mother created girls in her image. In the image of the mother she created them. Then she blessed them and said, Be victims and have victim power over boys and men. See, I have given every option and every labor of men to you. You shall have them as for food. And it was so. The mother saw everything that she had made, and indeed it was very good. And there was evening and there was morning, the sixth day. Thus all was finished, and the mother turned to the father and said, Because you were an absent father, your influence was scarce, and, therefore, more important. So you are the one responsible for all the ills to befall humanity, and in shame all men must labor to make amends to womankind for what you didn't do and I had to do to men, because you were off creating the universe. And on the seventh day the mother rested from her labors, because she had sacrificed so much, so that the father, who was off creating universes, need not concern himself with the creation of his sons. And there was evening and there was morning, the seventh day. So now you know the story of how men are responsible for how mothers and female public school teachers contribute to the brutalization of boys and men, and the father is all to blame. Now, maybe I give too much credit to my readers, but I had always assumed that everybody would understand that's satire, but there's have been some illiterate goons, feminazis and their manginas, who at least pretend to think that I intended the above to be taken literally. To the knuckle draggers who are too dim to get that it was intended to be satire, please accept my sincerest and ever so heartfelt apology. The process of brutalization. Men may often fear intimacy because, all other factors being equal, past attempts to get close to women have led to heartache and pain. Many men cover this up with false bravado, but the pain of love is not solely restricted to men, unfortunately. Women suffer too. There are no innocents in the battle between the sexes. Girls present themselves as challenges. For most boys, this creates a problem, and the problem's called scared of girls. You're not scared of girls, are you? Feminists may say men have the patent on mean behavior, but every teenage boy who has ever tried to approach a teenage girl playing hard to get knows all about mean girls and mean behavior. By high school, many women have become experts at psychosexual terrorism. At that age, most men have already disowned their ability to admit their fear of women. They've learned to suffer from women's rejection less by being macho and by objectifying women and themselves, women as sex objects, themselves as success objects. One thing most men know is that when women say they want sensitive men with a sense of humor, what they don't say is that by common female definition, a man is a virile thing that comes with a wallet full of cash, credit, and credentials, or good potential, or he's a stud. Guys who don't have these are the invisible men, men most women don't even know exist, the friend zone men. Quote, Dr. Donald Simons found that women find men attractive only if social, economic, and political status criteria as well as looks are met. Women, he found, often perceive a man shortage much larger than is warranted statistically because far fewer men meet their greater number of demands, close quote. That was Warren Farrell in Why Men Are the Way They Are. And by the way, Warren's YouTube channel is linked below. Since few men are as wealthy as the heroic rapists in women's pornography or as virile as the lecherous rakes on the daytime soaps, most are virtual drones. We're invisible, and many are alienated and alone. They long for closeness, intimacy, and commitment most women fear. Feminists assert real closeness is forbidden to men because men fear vulnerability. But why would men fear vulnerability to women? This vital question has been ignored, never asked. Why are adolescent boys afraid of girls? Why are men afraid of being vulnerable to women? Well, feminists don't want anybody asking those questions. Most men grant to women a vulnerability they share with no other, sharing secret thoughts. Many women punish this vulnerability, criticizing a man's feelings and attitudes, gossiping to friends about his confidences, and then complaining when he withdraws. But they are complaining about their own creations. Brutalization is a cycle. We've all heard the myth of how child abuse can strongly influence a person as an adult to abuse their own children, but our socialization can create a cycle of brutalization that is far worse and more real. In the article that's linked below, I actually provide a source for that claim that it's a myth. Actually, only about 1/3 of abused children grow up to be abusive parents. Now, I'm going to skip reading the outline I made of this cycle of brutalization. If you're interested, you can read it on my site. It's my own speculation. I'm not a professional psychologist or child behavioral professional or anything like that. I just sat down and thought it through, what it would take to create this cycle, and so it's just my opinion. Maybe you have a better idea. But I suspect that with many detours but little enlightenment, this cycle has been playing like a broken record for thousands of years. My question is, when are we going to end the cycle? When are women going to stop brutalizing men? Millions of American women woo football stars and collect exotic diseases from rock musicians. The guy with the most money, power, or virility, whatever element or combination of elements give men status, attracts the most women. Thus, women place enormous pressure on men to compete with one another for their attention, encouraging men to objectify women as sex objects by turning themselves into success objects. Are women ready to end that cycle? Are they ready to stop charging men who take the initiative with sexual harassment when it's a guy they're not interested in, and start taking a little risk on themselves? Are they ready to start having sexual relationships with the men they usually reserve for just friends? Or will they continue to attack men with their Arctic attitudes? Years ago, feminists complained at how men brutalized women. Now it's time to call upon women to stop brutalizing men. That's all for now. Check out the other videos, subscribe to the channel. For the Backlash at Backlash.com, my name is Rod Van Mechelen.